working. I'm working. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Well, I went to bed an hour before you, so tell Tim it's not just you. It's me. Because Jason and Tim could have a group chat. Like, they might need a group chat. I think our hubbies need a group chat.
I can barely.
That's right. You just saw who was on that initial clip, so you know this is going to be a very fun video. And as you heard Joy Reid say, she thinks it'll be a good idea for her hubby and Don Lemon's hubby, you know, to get together and do a group chat. Isn't that special? But in this video, Don Lemon and Joy Reid, Don Lemon, I ain't call him Lemon, Don Lemon and Joy Reid decided that thought it'd be a good idea to get together and do a pod. So they wanted to get on and just share their thoughts and ideas about the way things are going and their input on Trump and the economy, the tariffs, and our interesting trade back and forth with Canada. She's also going to talk about, what was going on with her firing and how she felt about it. So without further ado, let's get off into that. So I'm going to share these clips. I'm going to give you a little bit of commentary. I want to get a little bit of feedback from you. And then that's going to be it. So let's get off into this first clip where Joy Reid is Don's going to ask her, what was it that got her canned from MSNBC? Check out what she says. Check this clip out.
Last night I got diffusers and all kinds of stuff.
I'm turning my light on.
All right.
It's so dark. Okay.
See, now the light's coming on. We're fixing to we fit to find out what happened.
Turn the lights on.
So Joy, what happened? Because I thought you were going to be there. There was reporting. I understand you can't go into specific on certain things because we have contractual obligations.
That's right.
People. And sometimes people are like, well, why haven't you found a job yet? We have like non-competes and shit. Like, you guys have no idea what's happening. So we have to make our own way in this world in a way where we can still collect our coins. And
Don's a bold-faced liar because he went and worked right for X, got fired from X. So we say, we're waiting for non-competes. Joy Reid might have a non-compete, but no, Don, you failed at Twitter when on your very first interview with Elon Musk, he was gracious enough to give to you. You tried to do your left-wing extreme libtard shtick, and it didn't go very well, and you got canned from your $8 million a year job at X. Nice job, Don.
And have other currents on top of that. So Joy, what happened at the MSNBC?
Because weirdly enough, the car note people still want their money.
I know. And the mortgage
people are like, we still gonna need that money.
Yeah.
We still need to pay. Right. And I think it's funny because I think people assume that if you're on TV, you're like independently wealthy and you don't have to pay bills. No, we still have to pay bills, y'all. It's a job. It's a normal job. So, it was a surprise. I will say that. I think I can, without violating any terms of my contract, I think I can say that I was surprised because a week before any of this happened, the last communications I was having with, the PR folks at work were that we had won the NAACP Image Award for the readout for the show.
And that should let you know just how valid the NAACP Image Award is. It's not. It's worth probably as much value as this piece of paper that I got all this scribble writing on. It's not worth anything if she got it on the readout for being a race-baiting, race-hustling, left-wing extremist libtard. That award has no value whatsoever, exemplified in the fact that she got it. But wait till you hear why she got the award. It is going to blow your mind as to what it is, what interview prompted the NAACP to give Joy Reid and the Reid Out Show on racist MSNBC the Image Award. Check this out.
And that I'd won for the book from Edgar and Murley as well. But that, we just won an NAACP Image Award literally for the readout. And it was we were really super proud of it because it was the Brittany Griner interview was what we submitted to NAACP Image Award. And I felt like that interview and being blessed to have her choose us to do her first interview when she came out of that Russian gulag where she had been locked up for this nightmare.
So the NAACP Image Award was given to the race-hustling, race-baiting Joy Reid for her interview with a lesbian WNBA player who was arrested and locked up in prison for smuggling drugs into another country. Do you hear that? A lesbian WNBA player and drug smuggler was the reason that Joy Reid's The Reid Out Show received an NAACP Image Award, when the NAACP is supposed to be about the uplifting of African Americans or people of color. But they literally gave an award out for the interview of a lesbian WNBA player, drug smuggler. That is insane. And it's exactly what's wrong with our country and with these agencies, all these organizations that associate with the left wing, I personally believe that these agencies, they have all these fancy titles like they're going to do good, but they do opposite of what their title is. The NAACP has not done anything that has benefited African Americans or people of color in any way.
No, you and I both.
Oh, sorry. Maybe back in the day, maybe back in the day, somebody had a good heart and might have tried way back in the 50s or the 60s. But let's just be real. Things have gotten worse, not just amongst Black people, but for all people. And think about it. Who has been in leadership? The left-wing extremist libtards. It's like, let's just take the last, 16 years. The Democrats were in the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. And look at where we are. Look at USAID, supposed to be USA, but yet it's going out to every other foreign country for all types of nefarious other things. Think about the infrastructure bill that Joe Biden passed. Infrastructure bill, it didn't do anything for infrastructure, didn't build any of the charging stations it was supposed to, or the Inflation Reduction Act. Guess what inflation did? Skyrocketed. So I began to notice that whatever name the Democrat Party put on something, it is doing the absolute opposite. Now, in this next clip, Joy Reid is going to give her take on what's happening with President Trump and the economy. And her take on it is going to really astound you of how somebody can be this ignorant. But check this clip out.
And he's destroying our economy. Just the threat. And then he puts the tariffs on and then takes them off. He puts them on, he takes them off. That's what's causing inflation. It's part of what's causing inflation to go up.
If you're enjoying the video, do me a solid. Hit that like button. I'll never ask you for a cash app. I'll never ask you for a super chat. But you hitting that like button, that is currency because it helps spread the video around. And if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. On the Real Politics Podcast, that's what we do. We talk real politics. And once you hit that subscription button, hit that notification bell and select all. That way, you'll be notified when I upload new videos. She is so wrong. Printing money is what caused the inflation to go up. That damn Inflation Reduction Bill, that doggone infrastructure crap, the close to $10 trillion that Joe Biden put out into the economy. That's what leads to inflation. The limiting of our gas supply, which caused the energy prices to go up. That's what leads to inflation. Flooding the border with illegal immigrants that flooded our systems, all of them, from our entitlement programs to housing to hospitalization, healthcare, all of it, which also leads to inflation. Joy Reid. Tariffs was actually how our country became independently wealthy. Up until 1913, under Democrat President Woodrow Wilson, was when income taxes became nationalized, became federalized, it became a thing. And that's just what it was. Prior to that, they might put a tax on certain products. But as a whole, where it was across the board under a Democrat president who tried to usher in one world government back then with the League of Nations, which became later known as the United Nations, whose right-hand man, Edward House, was a direct connector with the Rothschilds, who were the financiers of Woodrow Wilson winning the presidency, which ultimately led to the Federal Reserve Bank being in the United States. All of this was under a Democrat president. Andrew Jackson, all the other ones before, kept the banks out of the federal government. Woodrow Wilson brought them in. He tried to institute the League of Nations, which was shot down because the people back then were intelligent. They saw what was happening. But FDR came later with the United Nations in their attempt for the global one world government. And so her take on what caused inflation is totally wrong. But let me get back to it.
Canada is retaliating by taking our liquor and our products off their shelves. They're retaliating and pushing the prices of energy up. And then when energy prices go up, the trucks that drive your stuff to Walmart and to the store, those prices go up.
You see how stupid she thinks people are? You know, energy prices, you know, the stuff that goes in the trucks, then they got to drive it to your Walmart. These people are so arrogant and get on my nerves.
Trump is wrecking the economy. Things are getting more expensive. Housing is up. Food is up. Not just eggs, all food. Vegetables are up. We get most of our vegetables from Mexico and a lot of them from Canada. They're our two biggest trading partners. And then the next one is China, who he's also tariffing. So your video games are going to go up. Your TVs are going to go up. Everything electronic is made in Asia, basically. A lot of our clothes are made in Asia. What are you doing, man? You're wrecking the economy for no reason other than that in your mind, you think you're William McKinley. or James K. Polk, who were both expansionist presidents who conquered territory and did tariffs. If you want to be McKinley, know that he is one of the worst presidents we ever had in U.S. history. No one ranks McKinley in the top 10, the top 20, or even the top 30. He's a bottom 10 president, Trump, and you're trying to make yourself an even worse president than McKinley, who is not considered a successful president. Someone got in his head and said, you need to be William McKinley. That's the Gilded Age president.
This from the lady who said that she would vote for Joe Biden if he was dead and in a casket. Who said she would vote for a corpse before she voted for President Trump. Now she wants to tell us and lay out, the way Trump should do things. She's the same person who is more loyal to every other country before ours, where she says trade partners. In order for somebody to be our partner, it has to be mutually beneficial, but it's not. Why is that fair for China to tariff us, but you're pissed off because we want to tariff them? Why is it okay for Canada to tariff us as high as 250% on dairy products? If we hit a certain threshold, but you know why we don't hit a certain threshold? Why even go that route when we know what the tariffs are going to be? For the products that we sell in Canada and what our economy depends on as far as on product sales there, it's only related to 1.3% of our GDP. 1.3% as far as on the products that we sell there, benefits to our GDP, 1.3%. The products that Canada sells in America is worth 20% of their GDP, 1.3% to 20%. It's simple math, Joy. So guess what the tariffs are, or the tariff threats are there for? To renegotiate, clown. And she's talking about Trump wants to be McKinney. You don't know Trump. You don't know anything about MAGA supporters. You don't know anything about this movement because you spend all your time in that blue echo chamber, in that bubble. We all tell each other how great you are, how smart you are, how men can have babies, and how it's great that a little child can have a lifelong mutilation and open borders, and how Juan and Pedro and Maria should be able to be here except for in your house, except for living with your family and on your block. These people get on my nerves. Now, in this next clip, she's going to talk about Canada. And when President Trump talks about Canada being our 51st state, and I totally understand why he does that. He says that because we subsidize Canada to the tune of $250 billion a year. We give Canada $250 billion a year for their economy to function. We also provide military assistance for Canada. Okay? And remember, our business, as far as with them, worth 1.3% of our GDP. So what is the upside? But guess what? If we combined our economies, because Canada has a strong economy, it's just that we don't get a lot of our products over there, but globally, they do a lot of business. They got great products that sell all over the place. But imagine if these two Western superpowers combine. China could never compete. Russia, European countries, they could never compete, because the two powerhouses would be combined as one. Now, that don't mean we change all where they believe in monarchies and all of that stuff. A lot of those things are too different as far as on the ideologies and the ways of life. But economically, it would make tremendous sense. But let's listen to her take on what would have to happen in order for Canada, United States to get together, and what the United States may need to watch out for from Canada. This is truly mind-blowing. Check this clip out.
Grampy Trump, let's talk. Let's talk. First of all, you can't make Canada the 51st state without going to war with them. And let me explain how that happened, how that worked out the last time we tried to go to war with Canada. They burned the White House to the ground in 1814 and won the war. Canada beat us in the War of 1812.
So you got this woman so deranged and delusional, and you see that look on her face right there. And look at Don Lemon. Look at Don Lemon's face, like, look at her doing something. And look at her face looking deranged, like a bald-headed lunatic. And yes, I can say that because I'm bald too. So I'm not being a hairist, because with the Democrats, if you say something about somebody, you're a something-ist. So I would be a hairist or a baldist by me calling her bald, but I am bald too, so it's okay. But you got this bald, extreme left-wing libtard talking about Canada beating us in 1812 and burning the doggone White House to the ground, even though we support them militarily, economically. This is just how deranged and the type of propaganda they spew.
They probably like their chances against us. We're not going to beat them in a war because we have never been able to do that. You'd have to occupy a country that is equivalent of the size of the United States, in which the top 2/3 of it is uninhabited, frozen forest land that touches the Arctic. You know how that worked out when the Nazis tried that with Russia, which is the equivalent of Canada on that part of the world? We gonna lose.
You see how these people are anti-American, so ignorant, and that's why they're both unemployed. Look at that face. And look at Don. He's just so giddy. How can two people celebrate the fact that they're cheering on another country defeating us when we know that that's not possible? This is the type of crap that they're spewing. And they came over here to social media because they honestly believe that if they get on social media, somehow that's going to help the Democrat Party. They don't understand that the movement that we have over here on the Republican Party and the MAGA movement is all organic. In the America First, the fact that you and I are together right now, that you're watching this and I'm talking, this was organic. We didn't know each other, but I don't believe in coincidences. So me putting this out is not a coincidence, and you watching it right now is not a coincidence. We are meant to be here. It's a synergy. But you know what else has brought us here? We unified on laughing at these two clowns that believe with this type of rhetoric, with this type of anti-American perspective, that they can build some type of organic movement. Even amongst themselves, their hatred and misery is so strong that it's only a matter of time before they start hating each other and being miserable around each other. And that is a horrible life to live. It seems like waking up every day hoping to see other people lose and feel pain so that you can feel justified in your BS propaganda. It's sad.
We don't have enough troops to occupy. They are a country of 39 million people who have about as many guns per capita as we do.
She's so ignorant. 39 million people, and there's 330 million here in the United States. And did you hear how she caveated that last phrase? Guns per capita as we do. So do the math, Joy Reid. If they have the same amount of guns per capita as we do, but we're 10 times bigger than they are, which means that we have 10 times the weaponry that they have. And this woman's a Harvard graduate, allegedly. But hey, look, man, I just wanted to jump in and show you this type of psychotic, left-wing, libtard, extremist crap that spews from these people. And I'm happy that they're both kicked off TV. I'm extremely ecstatic. Don Lemon, with all of that national recognition, his podcast isn't doing well. Michelle Obama bombed out. Gavin Newsom's podcast sucks. And I guess Joy Reid, while she's, thinking about what she's going to do for her next job, she's jumping on podcasts, spewing more propaganda and dragon venom out of her hate-filled mouth. But hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm getting full over here eating all these W's. But hey, listen, if you hung out with me and watched the video up to this point, I thank you so much. And as always, if you haven't already, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, I just, again, thank you so much. And like always, y'all, I'm Brian Maxwell, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.